Welcome to my channel and welcome to my smart home. I've been building out my smart home since 2016. Let's take a look and see how far I've come. I use all three leading smart home platforms: Apple HomeKit, Amazon, and Google Home. And while each one has its advantages, Apple HomeKit is my platform of choice because it simply does the most. What makes a home a smart home, though? I mean, every smart home device you buy today can be controlled via an app. That doesn't really make a smart home, though. What makes a home really smart is when you can control multiple devices with a single voice command, scene, or automation, especially if those automations can not only be time-based, but location-based, meaning when first person comes home, last person leaves, when specific people are home. So I thought I'd share the 23 products that make up my ultimate smart home. This is not a paid or sponsored endorsement video. I'll also put the links to everything in the description. Let's start with the Wi-Fi network. Your smart home is only going to be as good as the Wi-Fi network that it runs on. Now, initially I went with the Linksys Wi-Fi mesh network, and I even upgraded to the Linksys Wi-Fi 6 mesh network for the whole house Wi-Fi to cover my 4,100 square foot home. And while the 3-node setup completely covers my home inside and out with fast, reliable Wi-Fi, I've found that the Linksys mesh wasn't a great router. So I added something in between. I added a TP-Link router to serve as the main connection from my cable modem to my router, while my existing investment in my Linksys mesh network serves up Wi-Fi in bridge mode. So that way I get the best of both worlds. I get a rock-solid router that never gives me any problems, and I get rock-solid Wi-Fi that never gives me any problems. I also had Ethernet drops built into all the main rooms when the house was built. My philosophy is, if it can be plugged into Ethernet, it's plugged in, because this reduces the overall stress on the Wi-Fi network with so many devices that we're constantly adding to our homes. Next up are my smart speakers. As I mentioned in the intro, I use all three smart home platforms, and as a result, I use smart speakers from each platform. The Apple HomePod is great for all those Siri commands to turn things on and off and initiate scenes. Since I focus most of my efforts on HomeKit, it's really nice to be able to control HomeKit even if I don't have my iPhone nearby or Apple Watch on my wrist. Close Master Suite blinds.
One moment.
Also, since HomePod has a nice speaker array built in, it really sounds great. They support AirPlay too. It makes for a great whole home music system. Now, Apple has since discontinued the HomePod to focus on the smaller, less expensive HomePod Mini. And the HomePod Mini is great for smart home use. It's just not as good of a speaker. I have various Amazon speakers as well as Google Home speakers. They can control most of the same devices in the home, but they pale in comparison to the flexibility and automation that HomeKit provides. However, they have their advantages too, that both Amazon and Google, in terms of smart speakers, is that they sell them with built-in displays now. So with Google Home, I can actually see my Google Nest security cameras. With Amazon, I can actually see my Ring cameras. Not to mention, both displays do a great job of showing the results of your inquiries with pictures and videos when you ask it questions. My day starts off with the blinds opening at a certain time of morning, whether it's weekdays or weekends. I didn't want to replace my blinds just to make them smart, so I did the next best thing. I went with the My Smart Blind automation kits for each window that I wanted to automate. This saved me thousands of dollars by not having to replace my existing brand new blinds. However, I did get one new custom wood smart blind for my bathroom, compliments of Lutron for a review, And Lutron Serena blinds are definitely the way to go if you want new smart blinds that are custom fit for your windows in different patterns and styles and colors. Once I'm up, then I ask my Amazon speaker to start my day. This turns on the bathroom lights, my closet light, turns off the bedroom ceiling fan, and gives me my morning news flash briefing. Again, this is an Amazon great feature that the other two don't really have. Waking up to the right room temperature is important to me. This is where my Ecobee smart voice thermostats come in. Ecobee has the best HomeKit support hands down. They were also the first to ship with extra room sensors for your other rooms. This way, the entire system knows the entire temperature or the temperature of every room in the house. And you can adjust your overall comfort. For example, at night, I don't care about the temperature of any other room except my owner's suite, the bedroom I'm sleeping in. So the other rooms can be cold or hot, and Ecobee will make sure that I have the temperature that I want while I sleep. Same goes for the rest of the house throughout the day. When I live stream, for example, my live streaming studio needs to be cooled down. So therefore, Ecobee will cool it down regardless of what the rest of the upstairs looks like or feels like. Ecobee was also one of the best decisions I made from day one. Usually the first thing that comes to mind when people think smart home is automating your lights. And it was actually my first home automation purchase too. It started out because I wanted to automate one outside light in my new house. My research led me to Lutron Caséta, and the Lutron Caséta is the gold standard in reliable smart home light switches and dimmers. I started with one wall switch and ended up adding 23 more switches, 8 lamp dimmers, 3 fan controllers, several Pico remotes and motion sensors, and their new outdoor smart plug. I have 70 Lutron Caséta devices in all. Lutron Caséta uses an Ethernet connected hub that communicates with the individual devices or switches and plugs using RF, radio frequency, for rock solid performance. Like I said, it's the gold standard. I wish all my smart home devices were as reliable and great as my Lutron Caséta. While the Lutron Caséta is awesome for controlling all my existing lights and lamps, I wanted to add some color. This led me to Phillips Hue for my light strips around my wall-mounted TVs, bed frame, and color bulbs for various lamps in my family room. Philips Hue also makes the Hue Go lamp and the Hue Play lights for adding color just about anywhere you need it when you don't have an existing fixture or lamp. I also went with the Hue outdoor light strips for my landscape lighting to just make a beautiful home to come to in colors throughout the night. Lastly, I added a Meross lamp to the mix as well. This lamp does everything the Hue Lights do at a lower cost, and it doesn't need a hub as it connects directly to Wi-Fi. Now, it's great to have a few of these one-off here and there, but again, if I were going to do a bunch, I would go with Hue because of the same reason I went with Lutron, because it's a single hub controlling everything instead of all these individual lights connected to Wi-Fi. In addition to the Lutron Caséta light switches, I also added 3 of their newer fan controllers. These wall switches not only allow me to automate my ceiling fans for on and off, but also for speed. I can go from off to 25%, 50%, 75%, or 100% speed directly from the wall switch, Pico remotes, or from the app or home app. While Lutron Caséta is my go-to for wall switches and lamp modules, they don't really make a smart plug. A smart plug is great for those things you want to turn on and off that aren't lamps. Holiday lights, for example, table fans, coffee makers, anything that basically you want to control that doesn't dim. I started with Wemo smart plugs, but today I'd probably recommend either Meross or Hue smart plugs. Wemo just wasn't as reliable as the Meross brand was and the Hue brand. So I don't buy any more of those. Being able to automate lights and control them from either the app, voice command, or the wall switches is great. However, Lutron added one more product to the mix that I absolutely love, and that's their new occupancy motion detectors. I feel like I'm on Star Trek sometimes. Just walk into a room and the lights come on. I've also got them set to automatically turn off after 5 minutes of vacancy. So no more walks down dark halls at night or into a dark bathroom. These are hands down the fastest also in terms of response, meaning you walk in the room, they're on. Like there's no 2, 5, 4, 20-second delay. They're just instantly on the minute they detect motion. And they do a great job. You don't have to keep waving your arms and letting it know you're there. It will really detect your occupancy, and as soon as you leave, the 5-minute countdown begins. We have a dog, and therefore keeping the floors vacuumed is a daily chore. And luckily for me, it's one that's automated and I don't have to think about it. I went with the Roomba i7 robots. I got one for the main floor initially. Her name's Rosie. And I liked her so much that I added a second one upstairs, Alice. And these are not your grandfather's Roombas. The i7 models have all the latest mapping capabilities so that you can, once your home is mapped, you can vacuum specific rooms and areas on demand. And also no more problems with them getting stuck, because you can also designate areas on the map that are complicated that it shouldn't go into, like areas with a bunch of cables or kid toys or whatever. Now, while the mapping is cool, my favorite feature is the automatic bin emptying. When it docks automatically, it charges, but more importantly, the dock sucks all the dirt out of the Roomba, because the Roomba has a small bin, into a bag that's in the dock, and you change that bag about once a month. So really it is no interaction on your end. I've got them scheduled to clean daily, and they pretty much work without me having to do anything. And that's the best part. And that's what really makes it smart. Now I have a bunch of TVs, and all my newer TVs are smart TVs with built-in apps. But I still prefer connecting Apple TV boxes for Apple TV 4K boxes for all my entertainment and smart home needs. First off, Apple TV serves as a HomeKit hub so that you can control your HomeKit home when you're away from home. Secondly, Apple TV has an app store, and that means that downloading just about any entertainment, fitness, smart home app, or game that you're looking for is easy. For example, I downloaded the Peloton app so that I can not only do workouts on my bike with the built-in screen, my Bike Plus, but I can do workouts on the big screen, other kinds of workouts like weights and strength workouts and yoga, so forth and so on. I can also use the Apple TV with AirPlay 2 to stream content from my Mac, my iPad, or my iPhone. And this is great for watching work meetings and Zoom calls on the big screen. You can't talk smart home products in 2021 without talking about security cameras. Let's start with my doorbell camera. For years, I've been using the Ring Pro doorbell, and it was good. However, recently, Logitech introduced their Circle View doorbell camera with direct support for HomeKit secure video. This doorbell camera definitely took things up a notch for me. The HDR video quality is amazing. Ring alerts automatically show up not only on my iPhone and Apple Watch, but directly on my Apple TV with live video.
It looks like Terry White is at the door.
Lastly, if you have an Apple TV, your announcements will appear visually in the corner as a pop-up picture-in-picture. Of course, with the Face ID recognition as text to who's at the door. If you want to go ahead and go full screen, you can go full screen with that person. And of course, using your iPhone or iPad, you can do two-way communication and talk to who's at the door from anywhere in the world, not just at home. And because it's HomeKit, you can also set up automations to turn lights on or do other things when someone rings the bell at certain times of the day. Now, I have a variety of different security cameras from different manufacturers that I've acquired over the years. Most of my cameras cover the outside of my home. I use a few Logitech Circle View cameras because they also support HomeKit Secure Video, and they are weatherproof for outdoor use. For indoor HomeKit Secure Video, I have a couple of the newer cameras from Eufy, and I also still have some of my older Google Nest cameras, both outside and one or two inside. And Google does the best at continuous recording versus only recording motion events. So this means that you could still go back and look at any time of day, see what happened, even if there wasn't a motion event that triggered your camera. Like a strange car parked outside your house for hours at a time. You can see what, hey, how long has that car been there? Because it's not moving, so it's not a motion event anymore. Lastly, I use a few Ring cameras outside and in the garage that tie into my Ring alarm system, and of course the Amazon package delivery, the Amazon key deliveries to my garage. You've got mail. I'm not always looking at my security cameras, so it's nice to know when the mail carrier delivers mail. Ring introduced a new mailbox sensor, and I installed one and it works great to notify me when my mailbox has been opened. I even set up an Amazon automation to announce it by saying, you guessed it,
You've got mail
when the mailbox door is open. And if it's opened at night, it says someone has opened your mailbox, and turns on or turns up the lights outside to cast a little light on the subject so I can see it better in my cameras. Speaking of sensors, I replaced the majority of my smoke detectors, all but two, with the OneLink Safe and Sound Amazon-enabled smoke and CO2 detectors. So not only are these HomeKit enabled, but they're also Amazon smart speakers too, so they can accept those echo commands. And with the recent firmware update, they even turned them into AirPlay 2 speakers. This meant that they all instantly became part of my whole house music system because they're HomeKit enabled. I should say, because they're HomeKit enabled, in the event of a fire, I have automation set up to turn on all the lights, unlock the doors, raise the garage doors if a fire event happens in someone's home. This is what I mean by those automations that are really smart. Now, those door locks that I mentioned in the previous segment, they get unlocked because I went with smart door locks. This wasn't something that I was interested in at first, but now I can't imagine living without them. I installed August Wi-Fi smart locks on my front and back doors. I also installed a Yale lever lock on my garage door with a keypad, a garage entry door. And now when I yell, Siri, lock it up, all my doors will lock, and I no longer have to worry or lay in bed wondering if I remember to lock the front door or the back door. It's also nice that if I forgot to lock the front door, it will automatically lock after 5 minutes and unlock as I approach the house coming home from a walk or a drive. Security is important to me. I went with the Ring alarm system after getting tired of paying the higher and higher monthly cost of my previous alarm company. Ring is a do-it-yourself install. It was so easy to get up and running, and I was able to buy just the components that I needed, just the motion detectors, door sensors, window sensors, and I was also happy to see that they made a smoke CO2 listener. This device installs on the ceiling next to an existing smoke or CO2 detector so that if your existing detector goes off, it will alert the Ring listener too. And this means that the Ring monitoring system will dispatch the fire department if needed in case of a fire. Window door contacts as well as the motion detectors installed in minutes. I also like that the monitoring plan includes the Ring cameras too. So I pay $100 a year for all my monitoring, all the camera recording, all the footage, everything at one easy price. That's cheaper than anything else I've seen. I mentioned garage door openers earlier. I went with Chamberlain Wi-Fi smart door openers immediately after moving in. Not only can these be controlled via their app, but I added their HomeKit compatible bridge so that they can be automated in my scenes and automations too. This means that with a single command like good night, all the interior lights are turned off, doors are locked, the alarm is armed in home mode, and the garage doors, if they were left open, are closed. Another selling point for me was that the Chamberlain Wi-Fi Smart Opener included rechargeable batteries so that they can still open your garage doors or close them in the event of a power outage. Now, we are strong believers in the electric vehicle revolution and living a sustainable lifestyle. Both of our cars are electric cars via Tesla, and we have Tesla wall connectors in our garage for charging. This means never having to stop at a public charger, and definitely not a gas station, unless we go on a long road trip. The cars themselves are very smart and connect to the home Wi-Fi for software updates. So again, another reason for having Wi-Fi that even reaches out to the garage. As part of living a sustainable lifestyle, this means taking advantage of renewable energy. We had 26 solar panels installed to not only offset power coming from the grid, but to also charge our cars via the sun. As of the recording of this video though, my Tesla Powerwalls haven't arrived yet, but once they do, that will mean that we can power the home at night off the power that the solar panels generated during the day and got stored in the Powerwalls, making us more sustainable and self-sufficient. With HomeKit, I have automations set up like going upstairs, which locks the entry doors, turns off the patio fans, turns off the family room lights and fans, turns on the hallway lights, changes the color of the Hue Lights in the bedroom, makes sure the garage doors are closed, and arms the alarm home. Closes the blinds, and turns off the TV downstairs. There's no other platform besides HomeKit that would let me do all of those things using devices from so many different manufacturers with one single command. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Cheers everyone, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye everybody.